Greetings and welcome to a Friday edition of the Shotgun Start. It is October 10th. Andy, how we doing?
Brendan, I'm doing wonderful. I gotta say, it's been a fun day. Just a fun day. I've lost myself today, to be completely honest.
Lost yourself? How did you lose yourself? In the music or the moment or in your golf game? How did you lose yourself?
I needed to let it go. And I only have one shot.
Not two, not three, just one.
Just one.
Okay.
I gotta say, when we started this podcast, I didn't expect any sort of semblance of a moment, but getting the Don Rea uncovery, the whole Don Rea saga and I wanted to come on today and just say we need this man around.
Protect him at all costs. We did a podcast. You've been running ragged. You've been in Chicago. You're in Texas. You're playing golf. You're working golf. You run ragged.
You're like, I need a sub. Ragged. I'm great. I'm doing.
You're like, I need a sub tomorrow. I need a sub tomorrow. I did a podcast at KV, and then all of a sudden, Deep Throat calls, and this video appears in our lap. It calls up Robert Redford over there in the form of PJ, Bob Woodward. And Andy's like, it's a seminal moment. Shotgun Start history. We've had 6-7 years of this stuff. You got to come on. So we're doing a little bit here at the top. Don Rea video out singing.
I was with one of the boys. I was with, PJ's on here. I got to spend time with both of the boys individually today. That's a banner day. I was with Joseph and in real life. We were touching grass together in real life. And I said, I think I'm going to skip the pod. It seems like it's just not going to work. He said, you have to do the podcast tonight. You have to. I mean, every time I watch the video, it gets better.
How many times? Would you guesstimate?
Probably 50.
Yeah. I mean, it's 9 seconds, to be clear. It's not like the most heavily time investment each watch. But
I just found myself going and opening it up because I have it saved in my phone now. Every couple minutes or like every hour or so. I just bummed it short. I wanted more.
There's clearly others filming. There's more material out there. This is the tip of the spear, I feel like.
Because he's in like the easy part. I wanted to see how he handled the rapping part.
The quick jumps. Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Well, the 9 seconds we have was great. Like good, surprised, pleasantly surprised, amusing.
I mean, he's got a real presence.
He's a showman.
This man demands the room. And I have to say, that he has to stay around. We need him around for another year and a half. The other thing I played today that I hadn't heard in a while was the Sunday Senior PGA video.
Which one's that?
Where he did the voiceover. He did a Sunday voiceover.
God, there's so much I can't remember it. Well, like Champions Are Made or something like that, or Sunday Pressure. Can't even remember that. Okay.
Joseph brought up a good point. We need to incorporate his karaoke somehow into the intro or the outro of this podcast.
Will we get clearance rights issues with the copyrighted song on that one? That's a decent idea. It's a great clip for Don Rea. If I just a net win, all I'm saying is, you can have sort of the lack of visuals, some disembodied text in a Sunday Times newspaper, and you can blow after the vile abuse of Rory McIlroy. There he was playing. It's a great video. It's a win, a net win for Dapper Don. It's an incredible show piece, and as I told KVV. Where others might see a lack of shame, I see a surplus of courage, gumption, and leadership, and the kind of leadership the PGA needs in perpetuity going forward.
And let's be clear. The U.S. played great the next day.
Well, there we go. There we go. I mean,
now maybe he should have been in a meeting talking about crowd control and what they were going to do to control the crowd. But
you know what? You know what I'll say? I'll push back on that. Don is a rodeo clown. He's a figurehead. We don't need him in meeting rooms discussing substantive stuff. We need him out front singing karaoke and doing dances for the audience or doing first tee announcements. That's exactly where he should have been. We didn't need him in meeting rooms discussing the crowd.
You know, if you go on YouTube and look up, Don Rea has done seemingly hundreds of podcast interviews.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He's everywhere.
I can't believe he was available. I'm surprised. Okay.
I think he's got to go on Lunch with the Boys to rehab his image.
Rehab? What is he rehabbing from?
From the Ryder Cup.
I think we might have rehabbed his image last night. I think this.
You think he came out a winner from this whole thing?
He kind of crushed it.
I mean, it's clear.
Like Trust Tree, he kind of nailed it.
Trust Tree.
He has presence. He has. Would you say he has aura?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but he's definitely he's
the fingers
the
matching
room.
up with the lyrics are great when he can do the one shot.
I will say. He hit the shit out of. You only have one shot, and he did the finger, and
he's an umpire. Yeah.
I'll tell you why he hit that. Is that goes right into his voiceovers he did for the senior PGA. Just similar, like the one shot. You know, this is your moment, gentlemen. This is your moment.
All right, gentlemen. Welcome to Congressional Country Club.
All right, we're a gambling podcast. I'll go to both of you guys. Punt it to you. Over under in his lifetime, the amount of times he's saying "lose yourself" on karaoke in various karaoke situations. I mean, he clearly seemed to be. He hit his beats and knew the show. He knew the showmanship. What are we thinking here?
I think it's over 1.5. I don't think that was the first and only time.
Oh yeah,
I thought we were going like 15.
I was gonna say 10.
Yeah,
everybody's got their karaoke song. Mine's Tequila.
That's. I mean, you think you're so crafty with that.
Don's is clearly lose yourself.
Well, do you think he goes like I didn't bring this up with KVV, so I'm glad we're doing it now. How deep do you think he goes into the song? Because it's kind of long. There's like 4 rap verses. And then you have the whole intro, which is the part that everybody knows. Like, do you think he's doing the whole 5-minute song?
He clearly said Mom Spaghetti.
Yeah. Well, he had to do Mom Spaghetti to get to the point that we got to.
I just Googled his age, and all it is just articles about footage appearing. I just wanted to find out how old he was. Like, I mean, how many, he's in his 50s or something. How many karaoke situations are you finding yourself in? I mean, I'm in my 40s. I can't remember the last time I was in a karaoke situation.
I mean, he lives in Scottsdale. That's got to be like the karaoke capital of the USA, is it not? It's not even doing a bit. I feel like karaoke is probably pretty common.
He might do weekly karaoke, for all we know. It would be the least surprising thing in the world if he did weekly karaoke.
Oh God,
is it karaoke night at Augusta Ranch Golf Club?
That could be an issue.
There is now.
Be a thing.
Do you guys think we should go to Augusta Ranch this winter?
I think.
You were ready to be done with Don last Friday.
You actually declared us done with Don.
You declared us done with Don last Friday. Yeah. Look where we are now. You know what Don said to you? You're done with me when I'm done with you.
We did discuss with KVV. Do you think in the 6 weeks before a year in review, do you think Don comes up again?
No.
Yes, Andy.
No. I think he's done. I think this is...
We've reached peak.
Is there any chance he's like relieved of his duties or in hot water of any kind?
I think he might have been in hot water before this.
We appreciate.
I hope not. I pray to God. I pray to God we get another year of Don. The presidency term's 2 years. I honestly don't think it'd be a bad idea from a content standpoint for our podcast if he was all time. I mean, he's a complete buffoon. And it'd be bad for golf. It'd be bad for the game of golf, but it'd be great for us.
But all I know is golf is the engine of good.
I mean, I was telling somebody in sports, I was telling somebody that was like very in other sports about Don Rea today. And I was like, he was aware of the Ryder Cup situation. And I was like, this guy went on and said that it was like a youth soccer game. I mean, the comparison to the youth soccer game and then to sign off with golf is the engine of good is truly an all-time inept, head in the sand speech. I mean, it makes his performance at the PGA look normal.
As far as I'm concerned, it's the only thing that's subject him to real criticism. All the rest can be ridicule, good-natured amusement.
Oh, the PGA was terrible.
About rollback, and yeah, I understand. I'm talking about this last 10 days, 2 weeks. That
What's
interview.
my personal opinion on it? There is no personal opinion. I'm the president of the PGA of America.
What was your reaction when it came through the text? When PJ said,
I was so
have
excited.
This.
Somebody earlier in the day had texted me, I can't believe this video hasn't surfaced yet.
Right. It feels like there's other angles. There's lengthier clips.
I mean, we know there's other angles. It's just a matter of can we get them.
This is good
I don't
for his
think
image.
I don't think it matters anymore. The other angles. Everybody got what they wanted. They got the visual.
God, so freaked out that it was AI. Like we vetted this thing to the hilt. Yeah.
Well,
good.
Banner
it was
Day.
A great day. Banner
this
Day.
This
for
is the type of news we live for.
Look,
I don't know if we'll ever break something of more importance
we don't want to
than
break.
What we did.
We don't want to break. We would rather break something about this than Live and PGA Tour are merging or something. I would much rather be involved in something like this for the purpose of this podcast. We will do serious and sacred analysis, but in terms of having a laugh and having fun, this is what we want.
I just got a text that just came through. You probably heard
I heard the beep beep. Yeah.
I blame you for having Lose Yourself stuck in my head all day. Unbelievable clip.
I'm so happy. I finally got the Cranberries out of my head, Rory, and now I have this. It's wiped it out, cleaned it out. Thank you,
I think
Don.
I'm gonna listen to that as soon as I get. I haven't listened to the whole song since. Have you guys listened to the whole song since?
Yeah,
yeah. Last night I had to just to get it out of my head.
I mean, it's an awesome song.
I'm in disbelief that this happened. Truthfully, I mean, we're like 24 hours removed now.
There's nowhere to go from here.
No,
it's peak.
Should we shut the podcast down?
We might. Maybe should be done with it. Walk it off. Yeah. I never thought this was the way it would go. From the karaoke news break to then video landing on the desk. Incredible turn of events. So.
All right, I gotta go watch my Cubs.
Good luck to your Cubbies trying to extend the series to 5 games. Wish you well. We're gonna.
We aren't sure if we could score a run outside the first inning, so we'll see how it goes in the first inning, and then we'll know how the game's gonna go.
Would love it. Glad we could get together, weigh in. We're gonna go to KVV now, where we discuss a little more Don, a lot more Data Boys, some more Akawa comments, and some golf advice for a regular Friday pod. We'll be back. Monday morning, Sunday night, talking about, everybody's done pins and needles about the Bay Current Classic. Andy and I will be back Monday to discuss that. we started this podcast, I didn't know where we would go 6-7 years ago. I'd spent many places. One of them was Thursday night when PJ, I sent him the clip of Bob Woodward, Robert Redford, RIP, answering the phones and all the president's men. I said, this is PJ at this moment. Provided video of the Don. I know there's a president named Don.
Sure,
there's only one in this world.
With that one, yeah.
The Don Rea, performing. It was only a matter of time. The deep state works in mysterious ways, but they work nonetheless. It was only a matter of time before this video came out, and lo and behold, it came out via us, I guess, which is appropriate, really, since Quail Hollow, and it's only 9 seconds. It's an incredible piece of cinema, in my opinion, and golf is better for it. Golf is better for Don. Golf is better for this clip. As Garrett Morrison, our own, aptly tweeted, as I view it, they were 4.5 to 11.5 before this, and then 8.5 to whatever it was.
Euro's only won one match after this. This is like, I don't know. It's like the absolute rallying cry. It's like the speech in Independence Day where the president gets up and says, we're going to go to we're going to give everything we got. That was Rea's moment. PJ, Kevin, both of you guys, what would you grade the performance that we got? We have only about 10 seconds. It's a chorus. Were you surprised? Do you think it was be more buffoonish? Was it professional? Where are you grading this, Kevin? I think A-. This was not the first time this man did karaoke, and then this song in particular. I think I was kind of impressed. I wish that we had gotten more. I wanted to see him kind of nail a bunch of different lines, which I think he probably did. So if there's more deep state video out there that exists, we will continue to stay on top of this.
PJ, when you first got it, what was your reaction?
I mean, when I first got it, what was my reaction? I was stunned that it was. I texted you and Andy the video, and then nobody answered me. So I texted to Joseph, and I said, I feel like I was just handed the Rosetta Stone. I feel like I had it. It was provided to me, and I was like, oh my God. It was just utter disbelief of having it. I analyzed every person in that video probably like 15 times before I even sent it off. The woman in the red who does the Larry David look into the camera, it might be the best part, but I do have to give Don credit. He kind of nailed it. Obviously, it's the chorus to a very famous song, but the performance itself was pretty good. I particularly like the hands, as if he was giving a speech. He wasn't really performing; he was more pontificating. Mm-hmm. I thought, A- I feel like is fair for the 9 seconds we have.
I would agree. He killed it. And like you said, he's a performer because it's not just the lyrics, it's the hands. He's got the one shot. He's really dialed in. I can't believe when we got this. Look, I mean, PJ went to a proper journalism school. Kevin, for God's sakes, was a professor of journalism at his alma mater as, decade trained journalist. I have none of that training. I think I hopefully have common sense and enough years working in the industry. The amount of time we vetted this video was kind of embarrassing. And the amount of triple, quadruple, and this is the world we live in with AI, and maybe we still got fooled. It would have been extreme. We did our due diligence on several fronts. It was my kid's bedtime, and my wife was getting irritated as to why I was sort of negligent and outright absent. The way I couldn't even begin to explain what I was doing, just that it was kind of important, but not really at all important in the grand scheme of things. But we did quadruple, quintuple check to make sure it's real, and it is real, and it's spectacular. And
I've never been more honored to play the Ben Bradley role, to come in and give the final journalistic sign off. All right, boys, you better be right. Let's go with this. This is your moment.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like there's got to be more videos out there. There's one literally in the clip we have of an individual with his phone or her phone, I can't remember, capturing Big Don. The most amusing part of it, which several people commented on, was
like they expected some dimly lit pub or bar, and it's just this blindingly white, like just sort of anodyne
banquet room. Yeah,
yes,
terrible hotel banquet room.
Yes, just inhospitable, cold, light room, and Don is just cooking in full view. Where somebody
needed a fog machine or something.
Yes,
DJ back there with the strobe lights.
Yes. I mean, where some might see, a lack of shame, I see a surplus of courage, gumption, and leadership. And I think they have no choice but to keep him on in perpetuity in this role.
Just trying to pick up the vibes of the whole, that everybody's down at this moment. He's trying to light a fire under the whole U.S. Squad. The fans, the sponsors, all of them.
Kevin, you had a bit about which lines you wish would have been in the clip, because we didn't get the full rendition. Are there certain, maybe out there, are there certain lines from this classic tune that you wish we could get a glimpse of?
Yeah, I mean, look, some of the hardest lines in the song are the ones where Eminem kind of picks up the cadence a little bit. And it's trying to get in harder for you to water my seed, plus teeter totter. Trying to be caught between being a father and a prima donna. Like, I would have loved to see Don riff off of that one. That would have been, pretty great.
I would just want to see the lady in red while he riffed on that part. That lady in red was a mix of like forced clap / annoyed. But yes, that's a good one. I love that.
I think the number one draft pick for me though is like try to formulate a plot, end up in jail, a shot. Success is my only motherfucking option. Failure's not. Like, if we had that clip, I think it would have like completely melted all of the X app.
That would have been that.
Which it probably exists. So please, if you have that, contact PJ on Signal or DMs or, just tweet at him.
Yeah, if you need an encryption way to find me, I can make an account on the Signal app. This was not via encryption, but I'm happy we got it anyway.
Yeah, you need to pass through a lawyer to make sure that it's lawyer-client privilege. We'll pick up that retainer fee as well.
There are, just to be clear, this is fun. We're having fun. There are no actual real world implications for this. No. Please, it feels like, the Euros still want to put a spin on it, like the vile treatment of Rory and Erica McIlroy. Honestly, more power to Don for just jumping up there, throwing caution to the wind. I'm the leader of this ship. I'm gonna sing. I'm gonna rap. And I think he's fine. You cannot actually real world get him in trouble for this for any reason. You can't cancel an idiot. That's, as I've said over and over again. This was, it's goofy. I'm totally fine with it. Is that fair?
Yeah. He reminds me a little bit of like a congressman who gets elected for like a 2-year term and figures out real quick, he's not going to get reelected. He knows his term's up. So he's just he's going to live it up. He's answerable to anybody. As long as, it would be more embarrassing for the PGA of America to fire him than it would be for him to keep him, I think. Although, he could continue to sort of become fodder for people like us. But, he's a showman, right? This is how he got up to be the guy that he is. So this is what he should continue doing.
Is this the last he comes up on this podcast until the year in review? I said that last Friday night after the exclusive all caps in the Times of London about this little bit. I said, all right, we're done with Don Rea until year in review. PJ?
No, I don't think so. No, right. I said it to you this morning. I said, I feel like we've reached peak Don. They can't go anywhere from here. But the fact that we kind of willed this video into existence and then we were the ones to actually have it. I feel like there's just some meat on the bone somewhere in this that I can't even tell you where it's going to go from here. But if we got a month and a half year in review.
Yeah,
I like my odds in the next 6 weeks. I like my odds.
Kev? I just want to think about for a second the scenario where someone calls him and is like, Don, I have difficult news. A video has surfaced of your karaoke performance. It is no longer just the Times of London. The Shotgun Start has acquired this video.
Like puts the phone down solemnly, like, God damn it, shit.
What if he's like, did I kill it in the video? Like, that's the video. I mean, he probably. What if he's like sending the video out to be like, look at this. This is sweet.
I think it is good. A net win for golf. I think Don is good for golf. I don't know if Don in power is good for golf, but Don himself is an engine of good for all of us. And leave him alone. Don't actually come after him for anything. We will happily.
But all I know is golf is the engine of good.
That's all that matters. What's not the engine of good? Which this is a whip around Friday. I'm calling this rage bait of the day. This is the term the kids use, like stop crashing, like little shithead kids sometimes go, stop crashing out, bro. Rage bait. That's rage bait. No, I love my kids. I just this is what the youths say. Rage bait of the day. Corn Ferry Tour. The Corn Ferry Tour tweeted this afternoon, I believe it was. With one event to play, Johnny Kiefer has a chance to set his new single-season scoring record across the PGA Tour and Corn Ferry Tour. But it won't be easy at the Tour champion United Leasing and Finance. And it's a graphic of Tiger Woods' 2000 and 2007 scoring average of 67.79, split screen with Johnny Kiefer 2025 scoring average of 67.79. You can't do this. This is rage bait. You cannot credibly compare Tiger Woods' 2000 or 07 or really any Tiger Woods season to any season on the pitch and putt Corn Ferry Tour. This is complete nonsense. Corn Ferry Tour needs to be hip checked into the boards and put down for this tweet. This is total bullshit, bogus tweet. I mean, come on. There's no hint of sarcasm or self-awareness when they put them side by side. This is so disrespectful to the head of the Future Competitions Committee, Tiger Woods. This is so disrespectful.
I did not see this tweet, so this is the first time hearing of this.
I'll slack it to you right now. I'm going to send it to you right now.
The Corn Ferry Tour, the intern who's running the social media there is probably, maybe he's not an intern, maybe he's just a young person trying to make it in the game. Feels like maybe they're doing their job. It's probably the most engagement they've gotten in 6 months, a year.
Well, they got engagement here. They're on our radar here. So yeah, split screen. Tiger 2000, Johnny Kiefer 25. That's where we're going with this. So that's my rage bait of the day for Friday. What I will give you though is delight of the day. This is Whip Around Friday. I got an email. This is just one that makes us sort of happy that we all share the same planet. We're happy we're rotating around together. We're all sharing the same space at the same time. A little delight to send you into the weekend. The subject of the email is the Great Manicero in the Wild. Brendan, longtime listener, full-time meal. I don't need to get into that. All right. This is from Paul. Here's my story. It's really my dad's story. My sister and my 83-year-old father were supposed to fly to D.C. from San Diego to visit me today. As luck would have it, my sister woke up with a 102-degree fever and tested positive for COVID, so they postponed their trip for a few weeks later. With his travel plans nixed, my dad booked a single tee time at Goat Hill Park, his go-to muni, for $350 this afternoon. Upon arriving at the Goat, the starter informed my dad, quote, "You'll be playing with those guys over there. You ever heard of Matteo Manicero?" I mean, I would have dropped dead. Sure enough, it was the great man, the great Manicero himself. Needless to say, my dad, an ardent shotgun start and TFE listener who at one point in his life lived in Italy for 4 years and is fluent in Italian, was thrilled with his good fortune. That interjection that there's an 83-year-old individual fluent in Italian listening to this dumb podcast is a minor miracle. Was thrilled with his good fortune. After his MC at the Sanderson, Manicero was in Carlsbad for a TPI tune-up, which many people alerted. They tweeted about that. I said, I got more details about that, more than the tune-up. Before the Utah event next week, and decided to get an afternoon 9 in with 2 of his coaches. Over 9 glorious holes, my dad guided the My dad got in the 2024 Johnson Workwear Open winner. Just a great bit of qualification. Winner and his guests around his beloved Muni, where the great Manacero casually shot several strokes on below par. Alternating between English and Italian, Manacero and my dad carried on a conversation that I wish I could have been a fly on the wall for, covering topics from family and kids to the recent Ryder Cup and local courses. There seems to be a transatlantic agreement that Torrey Pines' site is incredible, but the course is stinky compared to what it could be. So a great Manacero himself.
Manacero, one of us.
Proper architectural mind. Long story short, Manacero was a great guy and treated my dad so well. He and his team were kind enough to take a group photo after their loop. My dad and I were planning to spend the night watching playoff baseball together after his cross-country flight, but hearing him enthusiastically relay his encounter with the great Manacero made for a heck of a consolation prize. The definitive engine of good has done it again. A loyal listener. What a great email. And we also, you got a PS. We have a picture to confirm this is true. And in fact, no one's yanking my chain. In relaying the story, my dad casually mentioned that Mateo's Danish coach, who was also in the group and went by, quote, Mike, played in the 2008 Ryder Cup. After reviewing the photo, I quickly deduced it was Soren Hansen. I didn't know Soren Hansen is going by Mike these days, who shared stories with my dad of teaming up with Westy on Friday and Saturday at Valhalla against Boo Weekley and JB Holmes. The third member of Manacero's group was his Italian speed trainer, who my dad helped negotiate strokes off the great Manacero on the first tee based on his local knowledge. You never know who you'll run into at your local Muni. This is just an incredible story all the way around. Guy went to Goat Hill, 83-year-old guy. Happens to speak Italian.
Throw an Italian out there. I love that Soren Hansen in this story is like Ron Mexico, like laying low, like visiting local munis, maybe dining with the ladies afterwards.
It's kind of incredible. Just a story that I kept reading the emails like, this can't be true. And there he is. Just the humble Manacero playing a local muni, indulging the locals and the regulars and having a grand old time. I love it. I hope
he bought like a ball marker or a hat to, wear around. Stuff on Goat Hill. Buonasera.
So that's your rage bait of the day and delight of the day. Let's go to our prompt of the day, Whip Around Friday. Kevin, can you expound a little bit on a PGA Tour social media post on, I believe it was Wednesday afternoon, between Bo Hostler and Matt Every, who's now our colleague in the media. He's regularly on PGA Tour Studios platforms, PGA Tour Live. I thought he was great doing PGA Tour Live at Caves Valley. I listened to him a lot at the BMW. So there's a video posted to PGA Tour. What was in this for the listeners who haven't seen it?
So this post was about Bo Hostler's passion for coffee. And it said that Bo Hostler once began as sort of a 49 handicap in the world of coffee. But after an ayahuasca journey, he had come to sort of find this as more than a hobby, that it turned out to be his passion. And I saw, it's kind of thinking PGA Tour doesn't post like a lot of like super interesting, compelling content. No. So it's the kind of thing that I would have scrolled right past, just thinking that it was kind of an advertorial, except for like several people were like quote tweeting it, be like, excuse me, what? And I was like, oh, ayahuasca. Wow. If you're not aware of ayahuasca, super hallucinogenic thing, kind of way beyond psilocybin, DMT, these kind of things that people go to sort of, deal with, I think, past traumas, to deal with, free their mind. I did a little bit of reporting at ESPN about a bunch of ex-athletes who would go to Jamaica and take psilocybin to sort of kind of help deal with their depression and anxiety and kind of just their feelings of, sense of loss after their careers had ended. And a lot of them had done ayahuasca journeys, which is honestly, like, just speaking honestly, truthfully here, usually involves throwing up in a bucket and like shitting in a bucket for like 7-8 hours while you go on this like super intense, like hallucinogenic
My family
journey.
Had the stomach bug last week and it wasn't that fun. I'll tell you, it sounds similar, but it definitely didn't have the side effects. The
Bo Hostler, as most people probably know, kind of a fringe PGA Tour player, a 4A player. Was a good college player, so a lot of people kind of remember him from the USAM when he had a brief little run in the US Open when it was Olympic that year. But it did make me think, like, if let's say you spend your whole life, let's say you're like a casual listener of this podcast and you are finally get up the kind of nerve to go on an ayahuasca journey to Costa Rica or to Chile or wherever. And you go into, they usually do this in groups of people, and you're hallucinating, you're going on this journey, you're dealing with all kinds of shit, you're unpacking. And then you come out of it and you look across the circle and you're like, is that Bo Hostler across from me? I can't imagine a stranger trip of being like who would be the strangest golfer to see across the circle as you're done doing ayahuasca and just not really sure whether you're still in reality or whether you were kind of in the spirit world. I think Sanjay M would be an interesting one for me. Peter Malnati.
That's mine. Peppy Peter in a bucket hat. Sitting and you're coming out of this whatever hallucinogenic trip.
I would almost be certain that I was still in the spirit world if I saw Bo Hostler there. And because every now and then I'll have like a dream. I'll wake up and I'll be like, I haven't thought of that person in 20 years. Like, how did they appear in my dream? And that's how I would feel about Bo Hostler. Like, not someone who's like typically at the top of my conscious or subconscious. And it would turn out that was actually Bo Hostler. So I'm not doing this to make fun of ayahuasca, because I think it's actually super helpful to a lot of people. I legitimately would do it for a story with a professional athlete. If they were like, hey, Kevin, I want to do this. I want you to write about it. I want you to kind of document some of the journey. I've been dealing with all this stuff, and I want to, it seems like Bo Hostler came out of it being like, it was the first time I was ever proud of my golf. First time I ever felt like I could, be okay with like the loneliness of professional golf pursuits, and that I wanted to have something more outside of it. And that's kind of how he got into coffee, and his friends nicknamed him the Bo-rista, which is just a perfect nickname for this segment.
Yeah.
But my final point in this, Brennan, is the fact that he's being interviewed in this thing about his ayahuasca journey by Matt Every struck me as perhaps a moment of maturity from the PGA Tour, perhaps kind of an evolution of the PGA Tour. Matt Every is the same person who was suspended twice for marijuana use on the PGA Tour. And so for them to evolve enough to where not only is Matt Every, happily employed by the PGA Tour to talk to golfers and tell their stories, but they're talking about ayahuasca, which is so far beyond illegal compared to like marijuana. Like, you definitely can't use ayahuasca in the United States without running into all kinds of various federal crimes. So like, I kind of am like proud of the PGA Tour for basically, I'm sure this would have triggered 7, 8, 10 years ago, like 100 different meetings freaking out about how did we ever let this go out? Who approved this? Like, someone's going to lose their job over this. Now it's kind of like, this is like just solid content where we're opening up about a player who's, got an interesting story to tell.
I thought it was a little better than solid, quite honestly. I mean, it's October.
Yeah.
What are you going to get in October? And like, this is their whole thing. And I know Rolap, like at one all hands meeting he had in August, September, he's like, how do we bring any kind of recognition to the people outside of the top 10 or the stars, even Ricky? This came across as like texture, layers to somebody. Bo, I thought, came across like super interesting and super thoughtful, smart. Like, holy cow, this guy is not just some golf robot or some, like, it was really like it furthered my appreciation of Hostler. Every as well. Every was like, Every knew, like, it seemed like he was meeting everywhere he's at. Like I think he claimed like medical reasons, right? Like anxiety for like his marijuana. And as soon as Bo said, I went to Costa Rica, Every lit up. He's like, oh, ayahuasca, before Hostler could even say it. It was kind of funny. But it was great content that furthered, in the end, my appreciation, whether it was the coffee, like his passion for coffee, and like how he views golf as like, it's not my whole identity. How do I get away from it being my entire identity, and how I feel about myself? It's like really good content.
I want to try this coffee. It sounds delicious.
Yeah. I came away like loving both of these guys a lot more, or appreciating both of these. I don't know if love's too strong a word. PJ, Do you have a player? If you will never take ayahuasca, I'm pretty sure of it. If you were coming out of it, there's somebody in the circle across the way. I think honestly, like an old guy, like what if Jeff Sluman was sitting there cross-legged away? You're like, what, am I still on drugs or what's going on? Jeff Sluman? Is that Jeff Sluman? PJ, is there someone that would really just? There's no way I'm coming to.
Well, the first person I thought that I would maybe like hallucinate something of like in my trip, that if he appeared in front of me, I truly wouldn't know, is like somebody completely right, like Pendy. If Pendy was just sitting in front of me as somebody that is like in my general consciousness, but I'm not thinking about it often. Like, I feel like if Taylor Pendrith was just in front of me, I truly would not know whether my subconscious, who loves Taylor Pendrith, just came up with this, or if he was just absolutely sitting in front of me right now.
I feel like it could be very dangerous territory for Peach, because like a lot of ex-athletes are getting older. Like, what if you woke up and like there was all these like aging Mets around, like guys that you had just not thought of in many years.
Memory hold, like Colin Cowgill is just sitting in front of me. It's like, hey man, you hit a grand slam on opening day one time. I'm talking to like a wall. There's nobody there. That would be a great one. That'd be a great one.
Good. Pretty good. What else is good is going to Club Champion. What a transition from ayahuasca to Club Champion, our sponsor for the day. You go to clubchampion.com/fried egg and use the promo code fried egg. You get a free driver or iron fitting with the club purchase. Using that code, you get a free driver or iron fitting with a club purchase when you use the code fried egg at clubchampion.com. They have studios all over the country and internationally. I don't know if they have them in Costa Rica. They might actually have one. There's golf courses, I think, in Costa Rica, in addition to ayahuasca. I think they might have one there. Every Club Champion, though, built club, comes with a perfect fit guarantee that ensures what you saw in the bay is what you'll see on the course. On average, their customers see 21 plus yards off the tee, 16 yards better dispersion with irons, measurably more fairways and greens in regulation, and fewer three putts. They have 5,000 five-star reviews, and the last third-party study found that 7 of 8 golfers lowered their handicap by an average of 5 strokes just after one season of their fitted clubs. Go to clubchampion.com/fried egg. Use the code fried egg. You went to one recently, didn't you, Kevin?
I did.
Like,
one of my dear
ad.
friends, he was a little bit nervous, never done a driver iron fitting, and so he wanted to do like a whole thing. And I was like, you know what? Day after the Ryder Cup, I will come to Manhattan and I will sort of shepherd you through that. So he was like, this can't be how far I'm hitting the ball, right? Like this is inaccurate. I was like, no, it's probably pretty accurate, but let's just let's see if we can increase that a little bit. So. Yeah, it was great. He was singing along to Springsteen as he was, getting fit. It was a good energy, good vibes.
Good. Clubchampion.com/fried egg. Promo code is fried egg. By the way, Springsteen, we might have a little bit of a fun newsletter segment coming tomorrow about, if players were in Don Rea's shoes, what songs would they sing in karaoke? So check out the Fried Egg Golf newsletter for that. All right. Let's just get back into a little bit of a Ryder Cup chat. We did, in addition to the Rea interview, or the Rea video, Joseph had, I thought, a great interview with Dodo Molinari. And, I mean, I'm not just here to talk about our own content. If somebody else had done it, I would talk about it too. I thought there were several newsy bits coming out of it. Some of it expected. Some of it expected in sort of agonizing ways if you're an American fan or an American part of the operation. But I thought it tied into an article you wrote, Kevin, in like two days after the Ryder Cup about like what's the deal with the data operation or the analytics operation in on the US side. Does outline the piece. I don't want to put words in your mouth. I could, but outline the piece of what you wrote.
So essentially what it felt like to me was, whatever you think about the data side of the US, either they're being completely outclassed by the Europeans or they're not being listened to by the American sort of captaincy. Like the last 2 Ryder Cups feel like they've made that clear, like with some curious pairings, some odd choices for captain's picks. Like they're just getting their circles run around them. And if I were involved in the data side, if I were, Scouts Alliance, and they kept ignoring my advice and getting their asses kicked like this in embarrassing fashion, I would want to be like, yo, we are not putting our names on this stuff anymore. Like, we can like enter into stuff with football, with basketball, with baseball, whatever. Hell, we'll even help out like, LPGA people or whatever. We'll help out golfers individually, but we are not going to be associated with this Ryder Cup stuff anymore. And I don't feel like that's happened. Like, there's been no, maybe this will happen sort of privately behind the scenes, but every Ryder Cup, you get these kind of like glowing pieces in mainstream media about like, check out the nerds, the stats nerds who will help decide the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
And there are kind of glowing things written about Jason Aquino and his ex-military background and how he's all these applied sciences and analytics were sort of applying towards the Ryder Cup team. And I'm sort of like, where are the results? Like, literally the caddies are making up the pairings in the cold tub room late at night. There's no like, seems to be actual like application of this data. And I talked to some people who were kind of in this world, and they were sort of like, look, it seems like either they're not providing the proper data for the Americans, or they're not getting like real buy-in from the American side, that the Americans aren't actually like, okay, like we get it. And a couple people I talked to was like, maybe they're just giving them way too much data. Maybe they're kind of overwhelming. Keegan's looking at like a gigantic 50-page printout of potential things, and like these holes are dogleg right, so we definitely need to pair Colin Morikawa and Harris English in this. And it's just like, all right, we're overthinking this. But the Dodo interview that Joseph did just clearly made it obvious that the Europeans are just so much further ahead, not only from the statistics that they have, but from the way that their players are like, yeah, we trust you. I feel like you guys know what's up. And I just feel like, man, if I were the task force, or if all these people who want Tiger Woods to come in and be the Ryder Cup captain and save the U.S., Tiger's like one of the most anti-data people ever. Tiger's going to come in and be like, oh, let's just hit the shots. This is ridiculous. Like, who do you boys want to play with? Like, let's go out there and kick their asses. So I would not think at all that Tiger is the answer if you're like a data person. And if that's the case, maybe that's fine. Maybe the U.S. can't handle that aspect of it. But man, it just sure feels like, we can joke about the stuff with the shampoo and, all this, the Europeans would do all this stuff. And boy, if the Americans did that, we'd mock them. True. But it just shows that the Europeans have kind of thought of everything and are carving out the margins in like the 0.2% area of, can this make a difference? They've already nailed the course shit. So now they're going to focus on shampoo because it's all that's left to really mine the differences.
It's a good point. In the interview, credit to Dodo with like a lot of these data guys, like, when you work for a team or you are in official capacity, you are very buttoned up. Like, you can't really say much. I would say he pretty unmistakably came out and said, sending Harris and Colin Morikawa out there again a second. And Joseph did a great job of asking him, like, not leading him like, hey, can you rip this decision? Like, he just asked, like, what surprised you? Dodo comes out and says, we were surprised in a good way about the course setup, like in a good way. They set it up, to even the playing field when we, in spots we thought we were at a disadvantage in terms of mowing the rough down. And then it's like, and then they mowed it down again on Monday of Ryder Cup week, and we were even more ecstatic. And so they brought it into a high variance putting contest. He like kind of affirms that putting totally random. He said the Morikawa English pairing, like, look, I get you got to play. You want to try and play everyone, but you probably, they get their ass handed to them. I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say that like that. We would not have sent them out again.
No. So if we're down 3-1, I would not send out the same pairing, same situation.
Right. And the same with pairing Bryson and Scotty in 4-ball, right? Where you're like putting the two best players together where it's not alt shot, but it's 4-ball and you're loading up. And Dodo was sort of like, he reacted like, oh, you're putting me in a tough spot there, Joseph. But no, that's not an ideal situation. And you can kind of like, there could be a rebuttal to Dodo on that. Like, there could be different data. I think we're at a point now where there's a certain amount of deference or trust in what Dodo's approach is. My whole thing with your piece on like how they're utilizing the data, or if the data's bad, is like being a data boy is kind of like
a glorified existence. It's kind of a win-win situation. And
There's
I don't
no accountability for you.
Right. I don't mean this like part of the reason I got into media is like I was reads Fire Joe Morgan, like refresh it nonstop in the horrible paralegal job, like, chained to my desk for 100 hours a week. I would loved reading about like analytics guys just ripping these idiot old school columnists who's like heart and grit and guts. Like I'm of the era where I appreciate analytics. But if you're a data boy, one, there's almost no transparency into like your model or your insight. Like we can't ask to see that. Two, if we could, very few people are smart enough to understand it, critique it, evaluate it in any way. So to say this is bad, this is poor, this is good, like you're not going to get some columnist for the Fort Worth Star Telegram going up to like the MIT guy saying like, oh, this model sucks, but thanks for letting me look at it. Like there's no transparency, rightfully so. You're not going to show your work for this kind of stuff. Then so you can't check it. If it doesn't work out, you can claim like, well, we don't hit the shots.
High variance. Yeah.
They didn't listen to us. We didn't hit the shots, and it's not predictive. It just is like there's kind of there's I don't know if it's no accountability, but you can kind of get away with never being the fall guy or never being wrong. Is that fair? It's a great spot to be in.
Totally fair. I also think like part of the problem in some of this is how kind of like laypersons, and I would include myself in this, have come to kind of view data as like, oh, gospel. Like this is like totally we should. This shows that the U.S. like screwed up so bad. I'd had a conversation with the data golf guys at the Ryder Cup, and they would be happy that I was sharing this. That they were basically like, we're very uncomfortable with people basically like pointing to our models and be like, oh man, the Americans really fucked up, because basically that's not what we're saying. We're saying like, this is what the data shows. This maybe gives you like a 2% advantage. Nothing in that the players do is going to will overcome that every time. Like the players are always going to be ultimately what makes a difference. Now you can say like, did the US put themselves in the best position statistically to win? Not necessarily according to our model, but that doesn't mean necessarily that the US like completely screwed up or whatever. But it's just super annoying to me. I think how there's just like, the answer is always, oh, well, we could show you that we were right, but that's proprietary. Like at least data golf is like, here's our model. We're happy to share it for you. Like take it for you what you want. Don't take it as gospel, please. But you can say that this is good or bad, and we might be right, we might be wrong. I'm baffled by how it's become like a religion for some people.
And you see this in like other sports too. It's like, well, they're a bad baseball team because their like exit velocity is piddling. Like, what do you mean? Like, should we just not play the games anymore? I'm not trying to be a Luddite here, but there is just, and we defer to it, especially in golf. We defer to it like this person is better at golf because of this strokes gain metric or this. His Pentagon chart, the Pentagon chart. And like you're considered sort of an ignoramus or a caveman. Said like, well, this guy won more bigger events. I kind of think he's better, even though his Pentagon might not be as good. Right. And it's just really hard to check. That's my thing, is it's impossible to know. And yet we put so much stock and deference in it. And I don't know, it's an interesting conversation. I appreciate it makes talking about golf much easier. That work makes it like there provides amazing context to understand like who might be playing well, who is kind of smoke and mirrors or something. But it's been hugely additive. But that's what I took from your piece on the data operation for the US.
Yeah, I just don't see. I mean, look, in fairness, I'm just sort of like kind of calling out people who don't get called out very much, and that's where I'm like, hey, like if you, this is your opportunity, like when frankly, like Jason Aquino's war background kind of made me think of this, but like when it goes bad in battle, the general comes home and he resigns. Like he tells the Joint Chiefs or the president, like, hey, I did not do the job here, and so I'm going to step down to sort of retain some of my honor, or because like I failed you. that doesn't seem to be happening at the moment. The U.S. Ryder Cup team just kind of keep rolling back with Scouts Alliance. Maybe they're getting a kind of a
Scouts
30% off deal. Scouts, whatever, consulting too.
I think it is. Yeah.
Maybe they're using a discount code. I don't know. I mean,
fried egg, all caps. Yeah. No. Anyways, have you heard much since you wrote that on the record that you would? You don't need to like go into like because it was an interesting sort of put your cards on the table type proponent.
Yeah. Nobody from like Scouts responded or anything, but a couple people from the data world were like, "Yep, like this is spot on. Thank you for writing this," because they, I think, have some concerns, skepticism about what's going on over there on the American side as well.
One thing I do have concern and skepticism about is they're trying to put the blame on Colin Morikawa for fan behavior over at the Bay Current Classic. The questioner, interestingly enough, had an accent from across the pond, which seems to be they're just like a dog with a bone, suggesting like, do you bear responsibility for saying we want absolute chaos at the Ryder Cup? PJ, do you have the clip from the Bay Current Classic?
Hi, Colin. You said before the Ryder Cup that you wanted the fans to go crazy and you wanted there to be chaos. Do you feel that the way that the fans behaved crossed a line? And do you feel any responsibility for the way they behaved or regret what you said before the competition?
Well, I think we've taken what I said a little out of context. I think
he doesn't even need to answer this.
Ryder Cups are meant to have a lot of energy, right? And I think me saying the word chaos, I didn't mean for them to be rude, right? So like, that's not on me, I believe, for me to take credit for people being rude. I think what I meant was like, I wanted energy, right? You wanted people to be pride and be proud of the country and the countries they're rooting for. So I don't think, me saying one word, everyone listened, and then I don't think I have the power to do that, amongst people. I think fans can do and say what they want sometimes, and it probably crossed a line out there. And it wasn't in my groups, but definitely, what people were hearing. So I would say, there's a line that needs to be drawn, I believe. But I think that's what's so different and unique about golf is that we hear nearly everything what people say because people have access to be so close to us. You look at a lot of other sports, you don't really hear much. Things are said, but golf has that different aspect to it. So I think we have to learn how to find that division of what's appropriate and what's not.
Just totally not claiming responsibility, just completely washing his hands of the situation. Like he shouldn't, I'm sorry. Like he's just trying to play a fall event at the Bay Current freaking Classic. And he's asking if he should bear responsibility for like someone saying something horrendous about someone's wife or Ozempic or something a few weeks ago.
Colin, when you said on my signal, unleash hell, did you bear responsibility for the massacre that occurred afterwards? I love our friends in the English, Irish, Scottish media, but this is such a dog with a bone thing for them. They just love to rub the salt in, and basically be like the Americans are the most horrible people on earth. And listen, there's some evidence that they might that they can build a case in that fashion, but this is not like Colin Morikawa does not bear responsibility for like people in Long Island. PJ, how many people in Long Island who were at that Ryder Cup even know who Colin Morikawa is? Would you say 60%? Yeah, I'd say under. Yeah. So
I mean, it's part and parcel with the Rea. Like, why is he singing karaoke after the vile abuse? Like, his quote about I didn't hear that, it's the same in Rome. Bad, not good, worthy of scorn. Karaoke, not. Colin Morikawa, if you thought he was suggesting this is what he wanted, you're an idiot. And that shouldn't have been a question he had to deal with at all. I honestly feel a ton of empathy for him to have to sit there and say, like, yeah, I mean, obviously by chaos, I didn't mean we should call like so-and-so, names and stand over the ball. It's just, I don't know. It feels like if we overwhelm the entire Ryder Cup discourse, talking about Brookline still, talking about,
sure,
and they're going to do this now for 20 years. Long Island's going to be used for 20 years, in my opinion.
For sure. It's the new Brookline. This will absolutely be like, we will 1000% hear for Hazeltine, Olympic, through all the next 4 or 5 Ryder Cups in the United States. Do you worry at all that there'll be a repeat of Bethpage?
Over at the Bay Current Classic, Max Grazerman's your leader with Bud Cauley and Brian Campbell. Brian Campbell could go 3-win season or 3-win year. Kind of incredible. Nico Højgaard, just straight from Long Island to Mississippi to Tokyo. Kind of an incredible month for him. Is one back. The big hitters, Xander, Colin, Max Homa, Wyndham Clark, I guess would be your 4 headliners. They're whatever, middle of the pack. On the DP World Tour, where there is a Masters exemption up for grabs, our guy, Hugo could be coming to Augusta. Ugo Cousin, the Frenchman, is winning the Spanish Open at the minute. Marco Penji continues his amazing year, along with Freddie LaCroix, another sparkling opening round for LaCroix. He's at 5 under. Can't say it, PJ. Don't laugh at me. But Hugo Cousin, that's your Spanish Open check-in. John Rahm had an underwhelming round. Lowry underwhelming, as you can imagine, exhausted probably. But that's your Spanish Open check-in. LPGA's in Shanghai, where the greens appear to be just an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace.
Piece of not fixing ball marks over there. What is the cause of the thing? I saw the picture that was in our Slack.
We hate putting like supervisors and maintenance people in the cross. Like it's impossible. It's a thankless job at times. Pays well, but it just looks like they lost the greens.
Dug a trough,
and it's just it looks like Billy Ho doing his snake broccoli cauliflower stuff at Chambers Bay in 2015. Doesn't look good, but that's your Shanghai Open. It'll change by the time you listen to this anyways. KFT is just getting started as well. So that's your current check-in. Let's go to golf advice. SGS golf advice. I would say nothing's going to get better than that Mateo tidbit from the Goat Hill. But let's go to one from Robert. Private course. Actually, I had a Ryder Cup one that's going to lose relevance if we don't talk about it soon. We just talked about the fans with Colin. This is from Andrew. 34, 2 kids, no interest in fighting except about social media influencer culture. Thought this could be a fun discussion topic for Ryder Cup cleanup pod. I saw Brennan on Golf Channel talking about whether Bethpage should lose the 2033 PGA because PJ's soft spot for PJ. Sorry. Whether Bethpage should lose the 2033 PGA because the fans are so poorly behaved, it made me think that it would make sense to try to identify the sources of the bad fan behavior. Obviously, booze is a big one, but they won't turn off that cash cow. A lot of an invective hurled at Rory and others seem to be coming from someone trying to feel big in an anonymous crowd and go viral or just impress other chuds on social media. See, for example, the video Andy posted of Rory, a slur, while recording himself doing it. Andy and Brendan have mentioned this before, but among the things that makes the Masters so special to attend is the no phones rule. Obviously, a big part of the good patron behavior at Augusta is the severe penalty for misbehavior, which probably can't be replicated by other events. I would agree with that. But maybe the phone piece is part of it and would be worth trying elsewhere. The Ryder Cup seems like a perfect tournament to try to copy the Masters and go phone free. It would elevate the specialness of attending because you wouldn't see influencer-style social media videos of people on the grounds. And it's only every other year, so it could be a trial balloon. There are obviously logistical challenges, but I think the upside would be worth it. Maybe the sponsors would hate that. It would cut into their promo opportunities, but I don't think AT&T and IBM aren't happy with their ROI at Augusta. What do you think, Andrew? KVV, I'll toss to you first here.
I was reminded of 10, 15 years ago when cell phones were not as kind of prominent in the world, and that you actually did have to check your cell phone. I can remember going to Congressional and you got to put it in a locker there or whatever.
Brown paper bag or something.
Yeah, because they didn't have like a way to turn off your ringer quite as the same way then, and golf officials and cell phones have become so ubiquitous in our lives that it's a different world now to try to do that. I don't know. I think it would be worth trying at a US Open. Be like, hey, it's phone free Friday at the US Open. You want to come? Don't bring your cell phone over. What is funny though is there's so many things now that are run through your phone. You can't even get paper tickets anymore to go to some of these events, right? It's all through your phone. and where you,
which is
not only that, where you scan
crazy,
inside,
by the way,
how you get your parking, to there. And I just think it would take a pretty bold leap for some place to try and do it. I just don't know that I quite get there on like, it's all people trying to do stuff and film themselves doing it. Like a lot of the people doing what we saw at the Ryder Cup are just, thought that they were kind of like helping the US, like thought that they were sort of part of the team by upholding New York's reputation as a tough place to play. And so I don't know that like a lot of those guys really gave a shit about whether it was filmed or not. I think some of the examples that we saw, it was easy to point to that and be like, oh, these guys are just part of that, influencer culture. No, some of them are just assholes. Like some of them are just basically doing it because they actually want to get under Rory's skin and they think he'll miss a shot because of it. So I don't know.
It's the Masters is sui generis. It's one of one. We know that. Like you just can't. Like it took 20 years and scared the Jesus out of you. Like you break your rule. Like to get everybody in line. I think it's so impossible to replicate. It's so. I mean, you could attempt to do it. Where I fall is, I'm not sure the Ryder Cup wants to do that. I think they love seeing all the content that spews forth of the first tee, and sometimes there's blowback for that. There's collateral, like catching the MC woman saying "F you, Rory," because there was a phone there. Mine, sorry. That caught them on video.
You canceled that promo.
I didn't. I got some insight. We got some background about like how the PGA was like totally hung her out to dry, like which is like totally expected. They're like, they're going to pin this all on you. She was supposed to be on TV and not doing that job, I guess, and they switched it at the last second. It's like, anyways, she's got a full-time job. It was just
I did laugh at her like explanation. It's like I was asking it like it was a question, like fucking Rory. Like, so, but just putting a question mark on it, that makes it okay. Fuck Rory.
Yeah, and I got a note from a woman listener who I like a lot. It was awesome, and I appreciate her perspective, saying like, you're like, this was a misogynistic like cauldron. No. And like, there was misogyny, like probably in like when they were hurling stuff at the wives, like of course,
sure.
But she had the microphone and she had the voice. She opened the mouth and she said it. And there has to be like, you can decide not to do that. No one made her do that. And so there's a responsibility for that.
It's feel like you posted that video and like, stone this woman? This is just absolutely unacceptable. You just shared it and was like, huh?
Yeah, I thought it was a little surprising. And so, like, was she put in a position to fail in a shitty spot by the PGA and, like, got, like, into this weird area? Yeah, of course. But, like, at the end of the day, you still say it over the microphone, and we have to, like, there's, like, responsibility for some of that stuff. And I just don't think the Ryder Cup or PGA is interested in cutting off content, cutting off promotion, cutting off, like, third-party social media stuff coming from their own event. I have noticed, like, there have been a lot of takedown notices from a lot of the videos of like where Rory's screaming F you, and that may be coming from like people in Europe and people on the player sides. Mm-hmm. But I don't think the Ryder Cup would be interested in this and seeing their less sort of viral moments from their event.
I think the only real solution to this problem is to get more tickets in the hands of like golf fans, people who grew up with golf, who are like, hey, and I'm sure that will come across a little bit elitist, but nobody who like grew up playing with golf and having their mom or their dad be like, be quiet when other people are talking about, keep up with play, is going to be screaming like, fuck you, Rory, while he's over the ball. Like the idea of doing that when my parents sort of drilled into me, like, this is how you act when you're on a golf course. Yeah. The way that I've like, subconsciously drilled it into my own kids. I just think if you had to buy your tickets through like a PGA professional, or you had to like actually show some sort of like connection to the game instead of just like, yeah, it's a good fun sporting event, let's go to it. I think that would probably, more golf fans would probably be better behaved while also being excited for the Americans in those moments.
Is like, I think the phone thing is pretty unrealistic. Is it more unrealistic on the alcohol front to like suggest that there's some sort of
PJ's shaking his head. Yes, it's totally unrealistic. Is that what you're going to say?
Well, hypothetically speaking, next time around, maybe at next year's PGA at Aronimink, I personally would not sell specialty cocktails with noise-making devices attached to them.
Yeah, well, that was
again, a lack of critical thinking. But you're not you're not getting out of the alcohol business. Come on now, they got 97 different. Bill Hill is an alcohol sponsor. They got 1,000. They have
Ultra,
the official ticket sponsors, but they got more alcohol sponsors. There's no way.
PJ knows this. The biggest cheer that we heard on Friday is when the alcohol sales opened up at 9 a.m.
People counting down, going to worldclock.com, counting down from 30 to get at 8:59:30 until 9 a.m. People just want to booze.
Yeah, you think people would not come to the Ryder Cup if they said there's no booze except for 12 to 4 or a limit or something? No, I think people still come.
I think some people would be less enthusiastic, but then if you're limiting it to 12 to 4, people are really going to get after it from 12 to 4.
Right? Sure, I would hand up. If I were a civilian, so had a day off. All right. So on the balance, booze or filming yourself for viral moment, more responsible. Not exclusively, but booze probably, right?
Probably booze. I just think the PGA Tour might be things were kind of great. We made a lot of money. We got in the news. It continues. Our president's singing karaoke and various niche podcasts he's popping up on. This is great. Why are we upset about this at all? We're the stepchild of the 4 majors. Anything that can continue to keep our name in the conversation is great for us.
I totally agree. They have. I don't want to say they don't care if they win or lose. They obviously probably want to win, but we talked about this after. It's just this third party organization with zero connection to the players, and they drop in for 3 days and then they leave, and the PGA makes a shit ton of money on their hospitality and having this event that's fallen into their lap. And yeah, that might be their position at this point. So, PJ, you agree? Booze more than phones?
I think so. But then you also have the younger demographic who are using the phones more than the older people, I would say. The people my age and below, if you're 16 to 26, who are half of that demographic can drink legally at least, but then all of that demographic can use their phones to try to go viral on TikTok. So I think that is a much more constrained group who's actually using the phones to kind of clip farm.
Yep. Okay, one more. Get us to the weekend. Private course power dynamic. 27-year-old male, no interest in fighting. My friend was a greenskeeper at a private club in the area, and one of the benefits of the job is you can play the course while it's closed on Mondays and bring a guest occasionally. It's a very highly regarded top 100 club. Don't say the name of the course in the podcast, but for your purpose, it was blank. Sorry, almost did a Ron Burgundy there. Top 100 club. It is a nice one. My friend asked me to play with him there one afternoon, and I'm obviously excited to join him. We decided to go off on the 10th tee because it's later in the day and wouldn't be able to play all 18 holes. At the 15th tee, we join up with 2 kids who are members. I would say probably maybe kids of members. I think they were freshmen in high school. So yes, probably not the members themselves, I would guess. They seem like pretty typical kids of wealthy country club parents, but nice enough. We don't mind playing with them. However, on the 17th tee, it's starting to get dark and we're rushing to get 9 holes in because we're waiting on a group ahead of us. The member kids start hitting balls into them off the tee. I guess to send a message to speed up. I say something short, questioning what they're doing, but they seem pretty set on it and keep going, and I keep my mouth shut. The group in front of us, by the way, is workers at the club rather than members. After the kids hit maybe 10 balls into them, the fairway is clear, and I hit my tee shot and play the hole. When we got to our approach shots, the group being hit into was on the green and came over to confront us. Understandably, they were fired up and said some things implying they wanted to fight us. Nothing ended up happening, and we finished the round. But afterwards, made sure to stay clear of them in the parking lot. My question is, what is appropriate to do here in my situation? These kids are obviously putting the people ahead of us in danger, and I would normally intervene so nobody gets killed or hurt.
However, being the guest of a greenskeeper, I felt what I could say to members is pretty limited, or members' kids, is pretty limited, even though they're much younger than me. Should I have interfered more anyways? I don't want to do anything where a member would complain about my friend and have it affect his job, but I also don't want to get anyone hurt. By the way, my friend who invited me didn't hit any balls into them, but didn't do anything to stop them either. Interesting sort of sociological experiment here. It's a tricky one, I think. I think hitting 10 balls, I didn't pick that up on the first reading. 10 balls feels like there's a stopping point in there somewhere where you're an adult and some little pissant 14-year-old member's kid. I totally respect this guy not wanting to get his friend in trouble. Like, I think that is where the sort of social contract gets tricky. But I think somewhere in between like 2 and 10, I would have said, like, stop. This is not okay.
Kids sound like some 80s movie villains.
Yeah.
Like the older brother in Goonies or something. You know, like, hey. I think I would, in that situation, I would probably say to the kids, like, oh, dude, I'm sure like you want them to speed up, but I was on a golf course once and some guy just took one in the head and there was just blood everywhere. It was awful. Like, you know, I would just tell, I mean, even if it was totally made up, I would tell a story like that and just be like, I would hate to see that happen. Like, you know, you don't want to like mess somebody up. And if the kids still went ahead and be like, yeah, fuck off, old man, like we're hitting some more balls into him, then I think I'd probably be like, all right, well, I'm just going to pull the ripcord here and you guys go ahead and play in. I'm going to, you know, wait it out and play this one in the dark. You can't win in that situation though, with the spoiled rich kids. Like they're used to like having whatever they want. So they're, of course, not going to treat the workers right.
I mean, there's right and wrong. And this was wrong to keep hitting or to hit at all. I think if you're on the right side here, and this may be no longer true in the world we live in, but if you're on the right side of like you're literally putting someone in danger, there's another way to tell them to hurry the hell up or get out of our way. I think if you say something and something blows up, it becomes a larger situation. The club is probably on your side, should be on your side. The parents, I would think, would be on your side, though. You never know. Maybe. Don't be mean to little Tommy, or I own half of this state. You're being mean to my little Tommy or Joey. I like if I were the parent, I heard my kid was doing this, I would be on their side. And my kid would, you know, not be allowed to eat for 2.5 months. No, I'm kidding. Like,
break their clubs over every single club over your knee in the parking lot to teach them a lesson.
I think you're in the right. And so, but there's the whole, like, the greenskeeper guy was not speaking up. You are the guest of the non-member employee.
Yeah.
And so you're in a tough spot.
I think the greenskeeper in that situation needs to step up. Like every greenskeeper, I think, at a private club has some, unless this is like the assistant to the assistant greenskeeper.
That maybe that's what I'm reading when he doesn't say super or something. Maybe it is like a assistant or a lower level person. I don't know.
But I think if I were an employee of the club, I'd probably want them to be like, hey guys, let's hold up for a sec. Like just let them in. Like it's just going to be cause of a worse issue if you hit them and then they want to fight afterwards.
Or if they're your coworkers, like other workers at the club of some sort, you yell at them ahead, like, hey, you got to get out of the way or you got to move. We're trying to get in instead of just letting them rain balls into them. So, I think you step up. You don't let it go for 10 holes. So
10 balls is a lot of balls. Like, what are they?
Yeah.
Talking through a rules dispute on the 18th hole there. Like, I feel like it is 10 balls. There's got to be something's lost in translation there.
Yep. That does it for golf advice. Anything else, Kev? You want to get off your chest before we go to the weekend, or anything you want to talk preview or anything like that?
No, I think I'm good. All right. What a delight it is to be here to talk karaoke and ayahuasca, one of my favorite weekly podcasts.
Whip around Friday. That does it. Enjoy your weekends, everybody. We will be back with you on Monday to talk about the Titanic clash at the Bay Current Classic. Talk to you then.